Hello and welcome everyone to the Lead with Love Rosary. Today's session is day 27, and it's amazing to just think how fast the time has gone these last few weeks. And we hope that you have been enjoying the program and the sessions. And as usual, extending a beautiful, heartfelt gratitude to the Angel Ministry program as well as Gateway. There's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes to produce this on a daily basis. So we thank Reverend Kimberly as well as Dr. Reno on the other side who is guiding this. Now, today's topic, well, I'll just say my name is Maria. I'm from New York City, and I'm a graduate of the class of 2011 in the Angel Ministry. And part of my work on this planet and also being involved with the Angel Ministry has specifically to do with leadership development, leadership coaching, as well as healing. And it's very mysterious when we get into the topic of what is leadership and as well as what is healing. And that's what we're going to be delving into and exploring today. I also would like to acknowledge the international audiences that have joined these programs and your love pouring in from all over the world as we join together in prayer, rosary reading, healing, light. That does not go unnoticed. That light pours out into the rest of the world. And that aligns right with our intention today, in which the topic is overflowing with love. And what does it mean in your leadership when you're overflowing with light, presence, grace, understanding, listening? Many times we may be relating to issues or conflicts or challenges that come up from a place of leadership that might be reactionary, or we may go to the habit of annoyance or whatever it is, list the abundance of human emotions and reactions that can come. And what the invitation is here in leadership is to take a deeper step into the space of the soul, a deeper step into your purpose, and remember on a daily basis that your leadership, your purpose, you're here to impact people. And an important part of leadership as well is remembering there's an additional theme here, which is your joy is a part of your purpose. Now, that joy is also what you ripple out to others. And what you ripple out to others weaves into the quality of their work. It weaves into the mindset of other people. It also weaves into their confidence and their sense of willingness and collaboration. Now, to prepare for these sessions, I ask Source deeply what it is that is needed. And Source gets real. Let's just say it gets real. And yes, the revelations are full of love and light. However, sometimes when we look into the topic of leadership, when we speak about getting real, a very important aspect of leadership that is not spoken about as much is the blind spots that leaders have. And that's what the angels and Source want to bring through today, so that the more we could be aware of our blind spots, the more responsible we can be with our footprint and our impact in leadership, and essentially be more powerful, but not for the sake of power itself, but power in the sense of embrace, collaboration, and leading from a higher place, leading from love, leading from understanding, leading from a good sense of intention and momentum forward. So, what do we mean by looking at blind spots? So, blind spots have to do with aspects of ourselves or leadership that we might not always see. But here's the tricky thing: everyone else sees it. And that's the challenge. Everyone else sees it except ourselves. So, part of leadership development is keeping that, let's just say, lens, the kaleidoscope open, and having an awareness that there can be blind spots at times. Now, how does this connect with the rosary and the readings? So here's what Spirit showed me before our session today is when we reflect on the Our Father prayer, which is such a beautiful and amazing prayer, right? The Our Father prayer, in my perspective, is not only a prayer of admiration and devotion, but it covers some of the most pillar, important aspects of our beingness and in our coexistence with the Creator. So, as an example, inside of the Our Father, it says, "Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us." Now, that is a very, very, very deep passage, right? It's really, really deep because most of the times when we're operating, we don't intend to hurt others or bother others or burden others. But sometimes in our blind spots, we do. Now, recently, I was listening to some near death experiences, and the near death experience that I listened to came from a very, very devout Christian. This very devout Christian really focused a lot on the scholarship of religion, which is beautiful. But in her near death experience, when she came back, she said, "What matters on the other side is forgiveness and love." More than fill in the blank, whatever it may be, righteousness, self righteousness, judgment, whatever it might be, that forgiveness is the most important quality. Now, forgiveness can be very difficult, especially if there's a lot of challenge or, let's say, trauma. But what we're talking about here in today's session is just in our own leadership and the way that we've either been leaders or even the way we lead in our close relationships and in our life. And the way that we're connecting today is the Our Father, that aspect of forgiveness with the unintended ways that we may have imposed on others or caused unintended hurt. And that's where Spirit wants to take us today. Now, this work is not for the lighthearted. The reason is it can be so humbling to look at this part of ourselves. But the more we can, the more light and illumination we can let into those places. Anytime there might be shadow work or shadows about ourselves that we don't see, those are the places when we do this inner work that more love and light can pour through. And I don't mean love and light in a very like light-hearted new agey way, but what I mean is literally on the physicality of our being, that the vibration of light, the energetic grid that we have can hold higher levels of light because those heavier densities of whether it's energies or difficulties or pain, mixed conflicts, it lightens it and a higher vibration of light can be held. So the more we can work on those aspects within ourselves, bringing light to those blind spots, forgiveness, and bringing that light to people that we may have unintentionally hurt, then that brings a greater sense of responsibility and even a higher level of mastery, because then we can be aware in terms of how we're leading in our life with our purpose and have a greater intentionality with the impact that we want to create. So I'm just going to pause there for just a moment and just let what was shared land a bit. And Source wants to say that this is not about making anybody feel guilty or bad or shamed for things that we may have done, whether it's unintentionally or intentionally, whatever it may be. This session today is about bringing light, healing, forgiveness, awareness to ourselves and others. A very important aspect of leadership is resilience. And what we're going to be doing today, this is one way of cultivating resilience and a higher sense of understanding of others, perhaps when they're operating out of a blind spot. Okay. All right. So we're going to pause there with the talking aspect of it, and we'll go more now into the healing meditation aspect. So taking a few gentle breaths as we focus today on the overflow of love, light, joy, awareness, and taking a few deep breaths as we bring our awareness down to our feet, up through the body, and connecting our attention all the way down to the earth core, the iron core, which is one of the most healing elements. And allowing that iron healing core energy to come up through the feet, up through the body. And as we're breathing, we're coming up through the heart, throat chakra, past the pituitary and the pineal, up through the crown, into the cosmic field of the divine source. And we bring that field of source light down through the body, through the system, through all the auric layers. And here's what divinity has to say today. Just for the sake of willingness to look at this aspect of ourselves and our blind spot, just the willingness alone. Source brings grace and mercy to ourselves, to you, just for the willingness to be open to this aspect of yourself. And as we look more and more at our blind spots, the more illumination becomes possible. So now coming to the heart space, the heart field. And in this heart field, we go beyond the human heart. And from the heart space, we open to the field of the angelic. Continuing to breathe as we attune to their vibration and their realm. And we might feel the vibration of the angelic praise, singing, or their love, their devotion, and allowing that vibration of that angelic energy to reverberate through your system. And as you're breathing, breathing in the angelic light. And the angelic light moves through the heart space and is pumped through the rest of the physical body. And is by the grace and the mercy of Source that this angelic light moves through any and all parts of our body and our consciousness that may have been either a blind spot or shadow or aspects held in darkness. You might feel your energy field expanding, lightening, and letting that angelic light fill all the auric layers, including your mind. What I sense right now is the angels working a lot with the mind, mindset, the way we see things, the way we interpret things. What Source and the angels would like to help us build a higher capacity with in this overflow is helping us to see things from an angelic and a divine perspective. And now they're working with the heart space, the front, middle, and back of the heart. And they're working with the lower part of the body as well. And they're working with the back, like the upper back, middle back, lower back, where the human body may be holding the dense energies. And letting that angelic light fill your space, whether it's your office or your home. Now, in this light expansion, what Source would like to do they're asking me to slow down a little bit. Now, what Source would like to do is to ask you to bring your heart up to your mind. Now, with this mind heart integration, what Source would like to do is, in our ask of receiving and giving forgiveness, is at this time, we will see beams of light coming from Source into our systems and into this container. And what we're asking specifically of Source to do is to bring the light of forgiveness and love to any unintended blind spot of where we may have impacted others and where others may have unintentionally impacted us, but more so ourselves in our own leadership or beingness. And we're asking for this to be healed, forgiven, also as we learn to forgive others. We ask for Source to bring mercy and grace and to help us to widen our lens and scope of the impact of our leadership. Now I will count down from 3 to 1, and in that we collectively witness Source sending beams of light through and to each person. And these beams are for healing through the system, witnessing and experiencing forgiveness and the healing of others who may have been impacted by us. So it's a multi-level process that will be happening. And in the depth of our hearts, we ask for Spirit to help guide us in our leadership, that it may be wise, impactful, uplifting, encouraging, and maybe even fierce when it needs to be. Fierce with love, compassion, momentum. So amplifying the luminosity at this moment, amplifying the angelic light through the whole system, and bringing the heart to the mind. We're opening to Source and holding the earth root, connecting into the heart field. we're asking for a healing of these blind spots and a higher recognition. In 3, 2, 1. Witnessing and allowing the light to move through. Now slowing down this light transmission. And as you allow this light to integrate throughout your being, we ask the angels and the archangels and Source to continue to guide you and your leadership, as well as mine. Now your system will be reorganizing and aligning to this light. And we give a deep bow of gratitude to Source, the angels, our spirit guides, for these deep and beautiful lessons and for this grace to continue to learn, open our eyes, witness, and become better and better leaders each day. To become better and better leaders each day. Now, if you're still feeling like you're in meditation, you can stay here for as long as you like. I'll just be making a short announcement as we conclude today's session. And a gentle reminder to be gentle with yourself after today's session, because there was a lot of integration and energetic realignment that's happening. So, for the continuation of the Lead with Love Rosary on May 28th, which will be tomorrow, we have a very special guest, Alistair, who will be sharing on the topic of healing through unity. So, we invite you to join then, and we'll be meeting through the rest of the month until May 31st. And we have some really amazing and beautiful guests coming up. And we thank again the Angel Ministry and Gateway University. Wishing you all well. Bye for now.
Thank you, Maria. Beautiful.
Thank you. Lots of love. Take care.